con men are found in higher and lower houses, speaking of good intentions, turning moon's blood red, oranges in the sky of origins in hidden hands, seen pocketing trust before disappearance. Stars explode as we see delayed sparkles introducing deferred gratification.
I think for me, a lot to do with bringing peace into being an academic is about opening in front of students for one thing, the possibility of peace, to help them to understand that it's not a fundamental part of human nature. And in fact, I try to engender in students a kind of absolute and sudden disbelief when anyone uses the term human nature, because we use it so often as an excuse, often for violent and unpeaceful things. You know, it's like, well, of course they rape people, that's human nature. Of course they attack people like that, that's human nature. Of course they're going to destroy the environment and take advantage of it and exploit it and make money of it, because that's human nature. No, that's not human nature. That's part of what humans do, but it's not some ineluctable, unstoppable part of our nature as human beings. And human beings have shown over and over that they can live in peace, that they can actively pursue peace, that they can build peace. But we tend to turn our history and our study and the glory to violence and war. And you have to, I think as a teacher, as an academic, you have to open up the possibility that there's glory in peace, that there's something to be attained in peace, which is actually much greater than that in war.
I suppose the way I entered being a teacher and educationalist was through the women's movement. And I mean, I was already sort of a budding historian, but that coincided with the moment of the emergence of the women's movement in Britain. And I very quickly started working not on the topic I was supposed to be working on for my research, but thinking about women's history. And at that time, in the early 1970s, there was no there was virtually no women's history. So part of what I did in those early years was to run classes for interested people, where we were literally learning together and finding out together about the hidden history of women. So across all my adult life, I've been doing work which has been informed politically, which sees itself as politically engaged and committed, but which is also always trying to be properly scholarly, not claiming any kind of scientific objectivity. I don't believe in it. Always situating myself as who I am doing that work, why I'm doing that work, what I see as the point of that work, seeing the work as an intervention in hoping to shift the ways in which history is thought about in the society in which I live.
I'm an amateur. I taught myself all this religious stuff. And some academics look down on me with great scorn because I've got no PhD in this and I write for the popular market. But I think this stuff is too important to stay in academia where only a few people 10 other people are going to read it because of the price of the book. I think academics have, especially if they work in the humanities, have a big responsibility to broaden our horizons in a global world so that we don't just dismiss people as being beneath contempt because they haven't got post-Enlightenment rationalism, but understand where they are at this moment in a scholarly way and say, yeah, I can imagine what it would be like.
I think the academia is one of the last bastions where we can do that kind of research, you know, without having to step into the commodification of aid and peace and branding and selling our research. Of course, more and more we need to do that as well as academics, but this is still the place where we can ask these difficult, uncomfortable questions.
Ze zit diep in mijn hart, in mijn ziel gegrift. Ze ligt voor anker, voorbij de horizon. Zij gaat voorbij aan succes, optimisme en blijdschap. Ze lijkt verdwenen als donkere legers mijn dagen vullen. Maar ik blijf haar koesteren.